Calling all friends of Petroma Therapy. Guten Tag, guten Morgen, guten Abend, guten Afternoon. How are you today? Well, I guess the mute is on, but it's good to be here. I mean, being alive is also always good. I got some sad news that a good friend of mine's uncle passed away. Rest in peace, Uncle Glenn. And I have another friend whose law school buddy overdosed, so possibly something was on mixed in with fentanyl. So there's a fentanyl epidemic raging in the United States. But on a lighter note, our theme for today is fashion and how fashion changes over the years. I'm wondering if my co-host is there. I heard a brief sound.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get online.
It's
But
okay.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you now, and I have recorded a long introduction, which we can use. And I was just saying good morning, good afternoon, and our theme for today is fashion and how fashion changes over the years. And while I was treading water, waiting for you to mute or unmute yourself, I mentioned that, a few people have, a few close friends of mine here in Dallas have experienced or shared news about the death of a very special old uncle, Uncle Glenn, 81 years old. Rest in peace, Uncle Glenn. And another friend had a buddy from law school who was not very old at all, maybe 38, and, kind of at the top of his game, and somehow must have gotten some fentanyl mixed in with something that he was taking. So anyhow, rest in peace. And moving on to the topic of fashion, what are you wearing today? Are you wearing clothes?
No, I like that. If I were in a pool, if I were like in Texas, where it's very, very hot, I would have a pool. Like you have a pool in your apartment.
Oh yes, we have several. We have several pools. It's it's a large complex, so there's several different pools, but nobody's in the pools because the pools are hot, because the weather's hot. It's hot at night. It's hot at day. It's hot in the afternoon. So it would be just like it would make no sense to get in the pool because it's not cool. There's no trees around my pool, but my friend David Anton lives at an apartment complex with lots of trees and lots of shade, and so you can go to his swimming pool.
No, I like the hot pools. If I were in Texas in your apartment building, I would be the only one swimming, I think. And if I were swimming there, I like when there is nothing between me and water. So I would be actually naked. But now, it's quite cold at where I'm at, a place. And I'm wearing clothes. It's basically a sweater and jeans. But I like cargo pants. I know that women don't like them. They actually hate when men wear cargo pants or cargo shorts. But I like them.
Wait a minute. I love cargo pants. And also, if you were naked in my swimming pool, there are a couple Russian girls that live in this apartment complex. They are so beautiful. You can't believe the amazing clothes they have. Right at Christmas time, I think some Russians have left Russia, Ukraine area, whatever. And any number of them have come to Dallas, and I saw these beautiful girls. I didn't know if they were prostitutes or if they just didn't look like typical bandits.
Scientists.
Russian scientists. Anyhow,
Yes.
they had these fabulous furry muffs and they had this fabulous hats and they had amazing boots and Vuitton luggage and they had very expensive perfume. And there was a man unloading all of their uh, gear out of this van. And I was trying to come up to my apartment and I said, "Oh, hello. Are you coming or going?" Because there was all this luggage on the ground. And they said something like, "We're moving in." And I said, "Well, I notice you're speaking with a bit of an accent. Where are you from?" And they said, "We are Russian." And I go, "Great. I love Russians." So I said, "I
It's,
live on the second." I said, "I live on the second floor. What floor are you on?" They said, "We're on the second floor." So they came up and they were going, they were carrying all this stuff. And then I went to my apartment and I had a whole bunch of Christmas cookies and some bourbon and coffee. So this was like about, I don't know, 11 o'clock, midnight. Maybe they got off an airplane. I don't know. But I just knocked on their door and I gave them a little tray with some Christmas cookies and some, I don't know, it was like hot chocolate that had bourbon in it. And I said, "Well, welcome to Texas." And then they said, "We love Texas so far." And you would be
it's,
naked
it,
in the pool.
it's funny how you have become a slave to stereotypes because actually it's not just you. Every movie or horror story, anyway, where I read or watch, there is a Russian, they're always bad. Except the one, I must be honest with you, because there is this TV series called Queen's Gambit. It's about chess player who is also a female.
Mm-hmm.
And Russians were pictured quite okay there. At the end, they had the championship, and Russians are noble and at least not negatively depicted. But I don't know why. Maybe any other movie or book I read, they're demonized. I mean, we are. I don't know
No,
why.
no, no,
Again, it
no,
could be
no, just a
stereotype or
second.
stuff.
Wait a second. I was being very complimentary. These girls were beautiful and they just seemed so out of place in East Dallas. They were too beautiful.
Oh,
And then
no,
when
no,
I
maybe it's just me then. I apologize if it was just me, but I thought you said maybe they were prostitutes. Not that I'm against that,
no,
because
no,
it's
I don't mean no, wait a minute.
all
I
these
don't
professions,
mean
all this
well, I
job
mean
in the
this
world.
is this is an expression. I meant ladies of the night or escorts or women you pay to go with you to super fancy parties. So they just didn't seem like local Dallas girls. And then when I heard their accent, and then I realized that there are a lot of any number of people leaving Europe from different countries to come to Texas. But there's also
Well,
the head of.
tell me, since we're on subject of fashion, what were they wearing?
Okay, well, just a minute. I just want to say one more positive thing that the president.
No,
Just a
you don't
second.
have to. I mean, okay.
Okay, the president of the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Complex, which is a huge complex that oversees many, many, many um, clinics, clinics and research labs. That guy, I looked at his name and it seemed to me like maybe it was Polish or Russian. And I looked at his biography. His parents were Russian Jews who came into, maybe they came into New York or the Bronx or something, and then they moved to Dallas. So like, I feel like I'm kind of surrounded by amazing Russians. Like this guy must have the best genes in the world because he's very smart, he's very compassionate, he's a scientist. And in his picture, he's wearing a suit with a shirt, with a collar, and a tie. Now, what about these Russians that moved into my apartment complex? Well, it was winter. So, there was no snow, there was ice on the ground, slick ice, so you could fall. So they had these like a furry hat. One had a pink furry hat with a pink muff that you put your hands into, and they had amazing perfume. The other one had a white furry hat and then a white muff. I mean, I think the cab driver who was driving their van must have like about passed out, because I think that they came from the airport and they commissioned a cab driver, but they had all this luggage, so it was a van. So they had on boots. They had on boots and like leggings. Leggings are kind of like tight yoga pants that are
Yeah, I
tucked
know what it
into
is.
the.
Mhm.
When we're explaining it to Michael Chichi, he doesn't know about Russians or yoga pants.
How
And
is it
also,
doing? I miss Michael. I haven't checked messages for a couple of
no,
days,
no,
and I thought maybe I should have.
no. You need to check his YouTube channel because he's in Hollywood and he's eating at amazing restaurants. He's showing pictures of all the food he's eating, and also another person that we need to check on is Tony Carnes. I think if these Russians in these yoga pants and wearing fabulous cologne and furry muffs, if they knocked on Tony's door outside of London, I'm sure Tony would pass out. If these girls showed up and said, "Oh, I heard you know a little bit about Russian art. Can we come in?" And then well, you know, Tony's doing okay. He's posting about art, and our other friend Train Mark is busy drawing digital art of of girls kneeling on beds. I'm not going to go any further about that, but so back to these Russians. They dressed really nicely. They smelled great, and you know, when they were several days later, I went to go pay the rent in January, and I talked to the fellow that was in the front office. I go, "Wow, we're getting better residents here where we live." He goes, "Yeah, how about those Russians?" and so if we look at our cover shot, you will see. Let's just briefly go there. Sophia Loren and Mostrello Mosiani, and these are two famous Hollywood stars. And if you were going to rate our cover shot, the sex appeal of Sophia Loren, what would you give her? Like an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10? What would you if you, I mean, you're a man looking at a woman. That's kind of what fashion is sort of about. What would you say about Sophia Loren?
Well, she definitely is beautiful. There is no debate about it. But if I could estimate her beauty on a scale of 1 to 10, she would be definitely be 10. But then again, it's a simplified approach because some people could look on pictures, but in life it's a little bit different because you can see not only their appearance, but their appearances can be deceiving, all right? But okay, let's focus on the picture and the thumbnail. She's a 10. What do you think of Marcello Mastroianni? Is he a 10?
Well, he's an amazing actor, and he's been in all these fabulous movies, these classic Italian cinema. So I totally want to be with a guy who's in classic Italian cinema. And usually brown is not a color that I'm super fond of, but he looks really great. And if you look at that cover shot, they say that when a person is telling the truth, their hands are open and they're moving their hands. Like I'm moving my hands right now, but no one can see it. They say that when somebody puts their hands down or you can't see their palms, that means they might be lying. But I noticed on our cover shot that Marcello has his hands not visible, and I was wondering if maybe he was touching her back or something like that. And I thought that was a 10 out of a 10 move to touch Sophia Loren.
Because maybe he's doing what comes natural, right? I'd like to ask you a question too. Can I ask you a question? Because you said he's 10 out of 10 and you like him, which obviously he's a
No, he's not. He's
uh,
not a 10 out of 10. In that cover shot, in that moment, he's a 10 out of 10.
yeah, okay. So what if he wears oversized t-shirts? Remember that he's wearing imagine that he's wearing oversized t-shirts. I don't know, gym baggy
No,
shorts, baggy cargo pants, and long socks also, and tennis shoes. Would he still be on this picture 10 out of 10?
no, he can't get. You cannot get with Sophia Loren wearing baggy pants. So I know what you mean. For example, there are some musicians here in Dallas, and another one of our subscribers, Carl Warren, photographs skateboarders, and skateboarders often wear kind of baggy pants, Vans or Converse. They wear a baseball cap turned to the back, so they're action skaters. So if you were an action skater and you were like 27 years old, you could get with Sophia Loren. You know, she's still alive and attracting quite a bit of, attention. But I think it's the context in which we see people. So I like the cargo pants because you can put your keys in it. You can put a cookie in your cookie in your pants. I mean, yeah, I like cargo pants. What's
What if
cargo?
Marcella Mastroianni would be pictured wearing baggy clothes? I know you like, okay, you like cargo pants. Imagine that he's wearing cargo pants and baggy clothes, because would that make him insecure about, I don't know, his butt or anything? Because this he wears, I'm sure that's British, probably, that excellently fitted suit, and probably expensive, or Italian. No,
Yeah,
but
it's like
looks
well,
good.
he's Italian, she's Italian. This is a suit
Mhm.
that's made in Italy. The film is made by Rossellini or Federico Fellini. So, these guys don't make films about guys in cargo pants. Guys in cargo pants are like down the alleyway behind the Trevi Fountain or something like that. But I mean, I like suits. I like suits. I also like sport coats on a guy without a tie. I often look at the shoes a man is wearing and I look at his hands.
Mhm.
What do you look at when you look at girls?
Well, it's like you in no way, because when men look at the girl, I mean, maybe it's just me again. I don't really. Um, well, maybe now when I'm getting older, a little bit, I pay attention to details like what's she wearing and stuff. But it's either I like her or not, regardless of the outfit. I don't know how to explain that to you, because
You're kind of stumbling around the question. So I said, when I look at a guy, I look at his hands because I like
yeah.
musicians, I like artists, I like people who can talk. So I look at the hands of a guy. I look at what kind of shoes he's wearing, and I also look at a guy's neck.
Yeah, that's why I told you that my approach is like yours in no way, because I imagine that I am completely opposite, that I have completely opposite values and ideas about what women should and shouldn't wear, and you'd get to that would be my answer or close to it, because you may see a woman and say, well, this top looks better on you. This is what I would have never say to a woman. I don't care what top looks better. If I like, or she's attractive, or I like her, because there are women you like. I mean, everybody like them, but you don't. And I think these are the two-edged sword,
Well,
because the story
once
works both ways.
I have a Stetson hat. I have a funny story about an NYPD, New York Police Department T-shirt that I have. So it is a dark blue background. It has the writing NYPD. I think I was wearing some jeans and some like jogging shoes, and I had a cowboy hat on. So I was at this bar, standing in the back of the outside. People were smoking cigarettes and talking. And I find that the way people talk and what they talk about to be attractive. So if a man or a woman is talking about something interesting like politics or philosophy, uh, I find that very attractive. So I went on the inside to the ladies' room, and I was just going to wash my hands and put on lip gloss or something like that. And all of a sudden, this young girl comes up to me. You know, I'm like 900 years old, but she comes up to me and she goes, "Are you a narc?" I go, "What?" She said, "Are you like a narcotics officer?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, I noticed you weren't smoking weed on the back patio and you're wearing a police t-shirt." I said, "Well, this is Dallas. And if I was with the police department looking for people smoking weed, I wouldn't be wearing a NYPD shirt." She goes, "But are you a narcotics agent? Where did you get that t-shirt?" I said, "I got it in the airport in LaGuardia." She goes, "What's LaGuardia?"
That's the
I was,
airport. I know what it is.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, I just looked at her and I was just stunned by her questions. I said, it's an airport in New York." And she goes, "You went to New York? Are you with the narcotics squad in New York?" I go, "Hey, I gotta go. Bye." And I just left the bathroom and went back into the main area where some of my friends were shooting pool. But people get judged by their clothes, and she was a little
Yes.
bit worried that I was a police officer and that there were people smoking marijuana on the back patio, and she didn't want me to arrest her. And she also noticed I was not smoking.
What if it's legal? Marijuana became gradually becomes smoking marijuana becomes legal. You can't arrest people if they do what's legal.
Well, it depends
Not
on where
sure
you
about
are. For
Texas.
example, in Portland, Oregon, it's legal. In Colorado, it's legal. Many, many states of the United States, recreational marijuana is legal, and also medicinal marijuana is legal. And I mean, if a guy's wearing a T-shirt and baggy pants and he's got a weed, like a weed logo on his T-shirt, I'm never going to talk to that guy, because what you're wearing on a T-shirt tells me who you are. Like, this is someone. Only thing this guy wants to talk about is weed and just being stupid. So anybody wearing a weed T-shirt, I will never talk to. Like, I'm just moving on to something more interesting. But it is
Well, I
legal
don't
in
know. Steve Jobs was very conservative and simple, I'd say, and he's a subject of clothes, but he was extremely rich person. And when you say, oh, okay, if Steve Jobs wears or Elon Musk, if he wears a T-shirt, I'm not gonna approach him. That's not prudent, I think, because
works for me. No, I'm just saying, when I go around, I do look at what people are wearing. So I have a Rolling Stones T-shirt. My friend David Anton took me to a Rolling Stones concert November the 2nd, 2 years ago, 45,000 people in the Cotton Bowl. And I had bought this Rolling Stones T-shirt at Target couple months before, not knowing that the Rolling Stones were coming through Dallas. So this was the Rolling Stones' first concert on a first leg of a tour through a whole bunch of cities, and they came to Dallas. And the pandemic was still, it's like 2 years ago, the pandemic was still kind of half on, half off. And my friend David had gotten these tickets from some relatives in East Texas. And so I had my Rolling Stones T-shirt, but at the concert, after the concert, the price of the Rolling Stones T-shirts were like $100. But anyhow, the point is, what people wear says something about what they like. So if I see somebody wearing a Rolling Stones T-shirt or a Santana T-shirt, or hear somebody talking about Rammstein or Pantera, I'm more likely to talk to them because I'm interested in music and art and that sort of thing. I'm not really interested. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what kind of car you drive. I don't care anything about you if the only thing you got to tell me is that you smoke weed and you're just wearing a shirt that has weed on it.
does,
But there's
does,
plenty
does,
of girls.
Does your style have a name? Because it's summer is almost over, which it is basically over, and you probably start wearing your autumn outfits again. Does it have a name?
No, summer's full on in Dallas. It's going to be over 100 degrees again. It's Dallas is
Oh,
not going to start feeling cooler weather until probably the end of October. So
mm.
in the coffee shops, they are having pumpkin spice lattes. They are starting to sell pumpkin tickets to this huge pumpkin festival. The marketing for the fall has already begun. The stores already have fall outfits, but no one, when people, I mean, this past weekend, I went to this little dance club and almost everybody was wearing shorts and t-shirts, and baggy pants. And,
Looks
people that are
like
staying.
everybody in Dallas dressed like they go to ready to go forage mushrooms because it's
Yeah,
hot.
no. There are shroom people in Dallas. There are people that are into mushrooms, and then there are people that are into like some people live in these high rises that have a pool at the top. So they have these swimming pool parties, and they'll invite friends over, like 100 friends, 100 people. They invite 100 people, and maybe 40 will show up. So people spend money on clothes, people spend money on food, on drinks. But um, you know, living La Vida Loco, old that old song by, is that like Julio Iglesias? I can't remember. Or like The Good Life, the whole idea of eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die. That's very much part of our cover shot. Sophia Loren and Mostralo, the films that they were in and the lifestyle that they depicted was, let's eat, let's drink, let's jump in fountains, let's smoke cigarettes, let's fall in love. It's not going to last, but like try to enjoy the moment. So
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
picture you sent me is the black and white. I mean, thumbnail we're using, right? Or is it just me?
Not,
Is it black and white? So
no,
if
it's not.
that was,
No, it's not black and white. I sent it to you like 3 times. She's wearing a black dress with a fitted belt, and he is wearing a brown suit, and his hands are not visible. He's wearing a brown
yeah, I
tweed
know about
suit.
his hand. It's just that I don't have it right now in front of me. So I thought if it was colored, which I don't remember if it was colored or not. It's strange. I mean, what would be their favorite color combination? Like black and brown, or I don't know, because mine is about black and blue, I think, maybe
Yeah,
pink, a little bit red.
yeah. A lot of people like to wear black and blue. A lot of that's a color style, and then also, well, I don't know. Like at my apartment, I have brown couches. One's chocolate brown, one's mocha brown, and I have another leather chair that's red. So I have red, black, and brown. That's a color scheme
Yeah.
at my apartment. But blues, different blues with a little bit of yellow, or different blues. That's another combination. Also, people can be wearing stupid clothes, but they choose the right colors. That's very attractive.
Yeah, you can be, if you have taste, you can be stylistically flexible, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Can you be flexible?
Yes, I'm actually wearing yoga pants right now. Speaking of flexibility, these are
But you,
pants I get.
if you're going to a restaurant, you should probably wear something more appropriate. Or you're going to a wedding, right? They wouldn't let you in if you're wearing yoga pants.
Sure, they would. No, just say, let me tell you about these pants. These pants have gotten so much attention. They have, they're kind of like yoga pants, but they come down to almost to the ankle, and they have like a white leopard. They have a white leopard on it, wearing sunglasses. They have a lion. There's a seal. These are the most hilarious pants. So I can wear it with a black top and pearls and black shoes and a cowboy hat, and it looks like $1 million. By $1 million, I mean it looks really, really great. But really, they're not very expensive pants. And when my daughter sent me these pants from Portland, Oregon, 2 years ago. She said, you know, if you want to wear these pants at home as pajama pants or yoga pants, please enjoy them. But I bet you could rock these on Greenville. So Greenville is an avenue where there's clubs and bars and restaurants. And what she meant was like, you could probably get away with wearing these pants in some kind of mix and match fun way. So I guess you would call my style of dressing mix and match fun. It's fun. It's fun. I have to be able to have fun. But I mean, these other women, they look fabulous. They have high heels, you know, they're wearing beautiful perfume, they're wearing a fabulous outfit, but they're just going to sit at the bar and just have glass after glass after glass of wine. They don't dance, they don't move around, they just sit still at the bar. And a bartender once told me these are what he calls the flat butt women. Leon is a very experienced bartender, and he's lived in Germany. He's from New Mexico. He's my friend in Dallas. He knows David Anton. He has referred to these women as the beautiful flat butt women. They have tons of money. They have guys who bring them in who have tons of money, and they just sit there and drink.
Yeah, but it's not the money. It's not the money which makes them confident. It's about the dress, because it's hard to feel confident if you're wearing something uncomfortable, regardless of how much money you have.
That is true. I was once at this bar, and my friend David was shooting pool, and he had a few beers. Maybe I had one beer, and it's kind of late, the band's playing, and I just walk past this little area of the bar that's right near the ladies' room, the men's and ladies' room. And I see these people are drinking martinis. And I think to myself, I'm going to talk to them when I come out. So I go inside and wash my hands or whatever, and I come back out. And I have this great opening line. I lean over to the guys kind of looking around, the girls just like staring at her martini. I go, "Are you a hand model? A martini model?" The guy goes, "What?" I said, "Are you a model?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "The way you're holding that martini is so beautiful." He goes, "Well, I'm with my girlfriend, but she won't dance." I go, "Oh, hi, girlfriend." And she's still staring into her martini. I go, "Did you want to dance?" In a very shy way, like, "Did you want to dance?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, could I get permission from your girlfriend to dance with you?" He goes, "Yeah, sure." And he puts his martini down. Then we go to the dance floor. A whole bunch of people are dancing. Like, it's not really 2 by 2. It's just everybody's dancing. And he comes back kind of like panting. He goes, "Wow, that was great." He goes, "Can I buy you a martini?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "I'm here with my friend, David." David's shooting pool, and I wave to David. I go, "Hey, David." David waves. He goes, "Would your friend drink a martini?" I said, "Yeah, my friend will drink anything." So this guy buys 2 martinis. They're kind of expensive. And I just walk over to David. I go, "Look, the martini hand model has bought us drinks." and David laughs. So that's the story of how we got 2 free martinis.
Now I want to have some spirit. I would have Jack Daniels as you already know, that's one of my favorites. I remember when pandemic hits, we were like stay at home, save lives, nobody go outside. So I sat at my apartment and we had this Zoom interview, and it was a work day. It was a morning, but I already had a couple of Daniels, a couple of Jacks. And I out of a sudden, I am told that there is this meeting coming up, which I really didn't expect. So I was wearing like wife beater, so I don't know how they call this, awful t-shirts.
Yeah, just a t-shirt with us. Yeah.
And to look presentable, I just throw in, I guess that was just a regular shirt and tie and jacket. Yeah, everything below was like I was completely but didn't matter because the camera only works one way. It goes whichever up to your waist. How do you explain that? Because if you're in front of the computer,
No, it's perfect.
Nobody's looking at your
depends.
shoes. What shoes you're
No,
wearing?
if you know how to position your camera, but I know some funny stories. Okay, so you were just wearing a t-shirt, like a sleeveless t-shirt, kind of having some coffee and a drink, or maybe just a drink, and then all of a sudden you have to do this Zoom meeting, so you have to look presentable. So to be presentable, the fashion for being presentable is a shirt with a collar, possibly a tie, or at least maybe one button unbuttoned. You should have a pen in your hand to look really serious. You know, and if you're sitting at a desk, what's on your desk shouldn't detract from what they're seeing. So there shouldn't be like a bottle of Jack Daniels visible. So you might want to push that out of the way. But I had a friend who was, is trying to get a job during the pandemic, and the only thing people were doing were these Zoom interviews. So he was at home. He's a young guy, 38, 39, something like that. And he had been drinking, like, I forget. Yeah, I think he was drinking bourbon, also bourbon and coffee. And he didn't shave. He hadn't shaved because you're at home. So why should you shave? And then I think he just wore I don't know what they're called, like boxers, like what guys wear, kind of like shorts, but they're underwear, but they're just called boxers. So he's in his boxers, just a beat up t-shirt. He hasn't shaved. Now he has a Zoom interview. So he told me he ran to the bathroom to try to shave really quickly, and he cut himself on his chin. So now it's kind of bleeding, and it bleeds on his t-shirt. So he has to take the t-shirt off. And then he put a little, I think they call it styptic pencil, to stop the bleeding when you cut yourself, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. So he got a little piece of toilet paper and put it on his chin to stop the bleeding, and got a shirt that had a pattern on it in case any blood was going to drip. He quickly got into it, a shirt like it was like blue and white check, which is, that's good for, and you have to wear a t-shirt under it. So he puts a t-shirt under it, blue and white check shirt. He had shaved. He has red hair, so he has glasses, so he kind of like spritzed something on his hair, and then he sat down for his Zoom interview. But the position of the camera, he didn't double check that, and below the table were his bare legs, barefoot, and just his boxer pants. He said that he didn't get that job. So it's like so funny. It's so funny.
You know the therapists. I mean, we are therapists. You're a therapist and I'm a therapist, but we don't have a uniform. But if you go to a beauty salon, the beauty therapist or spa therapist, they have these. I don't know if you have the same in the United States. I'm sure you do, because they have this beautiful uniform, which we don't have. Yeah, I don't know why.
Tell me about it. Is it like a short shorts and like a
no, it looks
jacket?
like if you were in an emergency. What's that in the emergency? What's that called?
Like,
the uniform?
It's kind of like sexy nurse.
Yeah, but it's brown, like UPS delivery or I don't know, courier. It's not sexy nurse wears blue. I think their uniform is blue or white, but this is brown. But still, they look great. I mean, maybe it
and you're going there to get your.
I like uniform. Yeah, I like uniforms. Going where?
Wait, you're going there to get your hair cut, or what? Why are you going to see the sexy girl in the brown uniform? For a haircut, or buying shampoo, or you're getting a massage? What would be the reason you would go in there?
Oh no, I have who works there. I have how do I explain our relationships? I don't know how do I define
I think it's now
friend of
called a
mine who
situ.
works in beauty
Oh,
salon. Not that
you
I'm
were
going
going.
there to cut my nails or dress my hair. It's just that there is someone who works there, and yeah, I don't know why I bring it up. I apologize if that sounds
You don't have to
inappropriate
apologize. We're
because
talking about uniforms. I feel
I
like there's
drifted
something.
off. Yeah,
I
I've always wanted a uniform. I don't know why, because it looks nice and simple. When I was in the army, because in the army it's simple. All you have is your uniform. You don't have to think what to wear, how it would look on you. Just yeah, I love the
well,
look of a uniform.
for me, my hat is part of my uniform. So, my business name used to be Goretti Design, but no one can spell that or remember that. So I just changed my business name to Pat in the Hat.
Yeah,
What's
bat in the hat sounds great. It's like a trademark.
yeah, so my Stetson is part of my uniform, and then wherever I'm going, I kind of like work down from the Stetson. But a great story about the uniform has to do with my father and mother. My father, as I've mentioned before, was a military man in the United States Air Force in security service, and some of our listeners know that he knew Russian and that he was stationed on the Black Sea up in Trabzon, and he was stationed in Turkey, and he was a man in a uniform. And then my mother was actually very beautiful, and she had a dress, not unlike some dresses that Sophia Loren had. She had a taffeta dress. It was like a off the shoulders, just to her elbow, tight at the waist, and then a flounce around the bottom of it made of taffeta. So when you're dancing, it like swirls. So I just know that when my father came to Texas, my mother was actually already engaged. She was a San Antonio society girl, which means that they present the marriageable young girls in these dinner parties, and they invite people. So, and this isn't just like Anna Karenina. This is actually in San Antonio in the 1940s or 1950s or something like that. So my mother was already engaged, and to this fellow who was he was from a moneyed family, and he was some San Antonio guy. But my mother used to like to sneak away when she was a teenager, maybe 18, 19 years old. She liked to sneak away to St. Mary's University and look at the boys playing baseball. So guys that play baseball have great arms and they have great legs. So there's different sports that feature different parts of the body that girls like to look at. So she told me the story that she and her friend Beverly, Barbara, and then my mother, Catherine, the three of them would sneak away and they would go watch the military boys play baseball. And it was forbidden, verboten. Because girls were not supposed to be out sneaking around looking at girls. You're supposed to be like, at home. So she saw somebody playing baseball, and it was my father, and he was playing baseball on the field, just a field of St. Mary's University, where he was, learning Russian. And so what happened was that everything came to pass, that she broke off her engagement with the guy that her family had chosen for her, and married my father, who was a military guy, non-commissioned officer at the time, who played baseball, and she traveled the world with him. So uniforms can be very, very attractive. Have you thought about just going to a resale shop and buying a uniform and just start wearing it around?
Oh no, no, because unless I'm back in the army again, I won't wear it. But I like trench coats. It's yeah, I love trench coats. So trench coat is a cool thing to wear. but it's black mostly. So have you ever went out all black?
Yes, I like to wear all black with pearls and my Stetson. Yeah, it looks great. But you know what
Speaking
is
about
so
your accessories,
well,
do you pay much attention to accessories?
yes, I do, but I just want to tell you something really, really interesting. I
Mhm.
once imagined that this is so synchronistic. I once imagined that if we ever met, like, oh, in like Manhattan or Boston or I don't know, London, or you came to Dallas, I always imagined, just kind of imagine, well, what would we like to, meet you? I thought, well, I would probably meet you in the airport. You would be carrying a trench coat over one hand. You would have a carrier bag, on your shoulder. You'd be holding a newspaper, and I always imagine you with the with the trench coat. That's really interesting.
Mm.
That is it okay? I told that I feel like I'm blushing. It's
No,
yeah.
I like doing black and white thing. I never go out. I mean, I did once, but yeah, that was an exception when I went out all black. Because mostly I doing black and white thing. It's simple
Well,
and classic sometimes, and it's convenient.
once I was buying some clothes for my daughter, and I saw like I like Chanel, and I found this black and white houndstooth. It's a type of pattern, houndstooth, alternating black and white coat that was fabulous. My mother had one back in the day, but I found this at a store, brand new coat, and I bought it. And I thought this is going to look great on my daughter. So my daughter, I think she was still in high school. So high school girls don't wear like Chanel coats, but she had some guy that liked her who bought her a Coach bag, Coach. So some of our listeners may know what Coach is. It's super expensive leather company. So um, this boyfriend of hers bought all these gifts. That guy bought us the best gifts. So anyhow, I give the daughter this houndstooth coat. She goes, "What is that? What is that? I can't wear something like that. I have a black leather jacket, this really cute black leather jacket." So she was going to fly up to New York where my other daughter was in law school. And she had the Coach bag, the handbag. She had the houndstooth jacket. She had her black leather jacket, and she likes to wear pearls. So she goes up to New York, and the other daughter never has any good purses. So she just gives the lawyer daughter the bag, and it's like a super expensive Coach bag. And then she comes back from her trip from visiting her sister up in New York, saying like, "Mom, you were like so cool. People said that I looked great." So sometimes I think it's hard to judge our clothes. Like, are these the right clothes? Does this look good on me? Or like, should I wear cargo pants? Is it okay to not button my top shirt? Do you sometimes wonder? I wonder all the time about what I'm wearing. I wonder a lot.
No, I don't really, but maybe I will. So I think that's a perfect excuse to wrap up our conversation for today, if you don't mind, because I'm kind of in the sub-zero temperature here because the conference room I'm at, it's really cold. And I know that it's technically autumn, but you having this crazy heat wave in Texas. And I wish you wear something still nice and breezy for it.
Yeah, I am, and I like the term "wrap it up" because we've been talking about trench coats, and you know I'm sure there's some of our listeners that are in places where it's raining. Pretty sure it's raining in London. I know it's raining in Portland. I think it's raining in Seattle. I think it's raining in Detroit, and the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.